It's common to think that Sarah Jessica Parker's Carrie Bradshaw is a bad actress these days. She isn't the most popular or even the most liked actress on Sex and the City, to be honest, for a number of reasons, including her track record as a not-so-great friend and her tone-deaf opinions on several delicate subjects, but one of her most observable traits is that she never appeared naked when she was judgmental. It was expected that, and just like that, what if the filthy humor of its predecessor, while also having the advantage of being written from an older, more mature point of view. Persona, especially given her line of work, the relaunch of the program and just like that explores the characters in contemporary society and rights many of the program's historical wrongs, including lack of representation. While it surely has its moments, sex is now a much more liberated and open topic. Additionally, it appears to have addressed Carrie's conservatism in some way. Bradshaw Carrie's tendency to judge people harshly is nothing new, but her opinions were considered to be more progressive during the first season of the show. However, she seems to have taken a 50-step backward turn since then, which is absurd. While Carrie undoubtedly has flaws, she was never a prude, so it is difficult to understand why she has suddenly become one since Mr. Big's passing. Instead, it seems reasonable that she would be a little more reserved and reserved. In the 1990s and the beginning of the 2000s, when sex was a much more taboo subject, she wrote about topics that were extremely explicit in her column. Today, however, she is unable to use the term vagina in a podcast called Sex in the City. Sexuality and sex in general are much more frequently discussed. People who listen to her podcast S1 and unvarnished real talk from someone of her caliber and prominence today, yet she steers clear of certain topics in ordinary discussion. Although the program undoubtedly set new standards when it premiered in 1998, Carrie was far too conservative and shame-wife for someone with a sex column. Being one of many single women in New York meant she never ran out of topics to write about, but occasionally she had a condescending attitude towards her friends, especially Samantha. Samantha was the most obnoxious and uncontrolled in her behavior, and she was also fairly sexually explicit. Carrie teased and condemned her, saying that she would never act in such a way after 5 seasons since it was an episode-long narrative. Carrie frequently criticized her for her behavior despite the fact that she placed the sex in Sex on the City, such as when she entered and saw Samantha yelling at the mailman as a result. Samantha responded by saying exactly what everyone was thinking: what does it matter if Samantha was having an intimate relationship with her mailman? Was it really such a big deal as Carrie had implied? He gave Carrie one last shot before leaving, saying, "I cannot believe that you judge me after everything we have been through. I won't let your society judge me as long as I can breathe and kneel. I'll wear whatever I want, and I'll blow whomever I want." In light of Carrie's relationship with Mr. Big and the fact that she had recently started dating Aiden, this conversation seemed especially unsettling. Carrie told Samantha what had happened, and while she was undoubtedly shocked, she didn't condemn or blame her, which was a much worse offense than some midday flirting with a hot mailman. The difference was that unlike Carrie with her column, Charlotte never pretended to be open-minded and experimental, rather she just held different values than those of her pals. She wasn't always right or even kind, but at least she wasn't masking her actual emotions as Carrie frequently did. Carrie's role in the new season just seems so strange. Even Charlotte, who has long been considered the designated prude, feels greater progress than she does. Sarah Jessica Parker provided an explanation for Carrie Bradshaw's hesitation to go nude given the program's focus on sex and nudity. However, Sarah Jessica Parker recently discussed this choice as well as her character's use of profanity and explicit language during an interview on Howard Stern. Carrie was the only major character who had never been naked, which isn't necessarily a bad thing in and of itself. Actors should always feel that he's on set, particularly during such private sequences. "My only concern, which I confided in him, was that I didn't feel comfortable performing in nudity, and if it wasn't in the pilot it would probably be a part of a series," Parker recalled her interview with show creator Darren Star, saying, "I believe the script was really captivating and very exciting and different and fresh, and I'd never seen anything like that." Parker claims that Star just responded, "Don't do it, then you are not required to, other actors will part." Parker argued that just because they were on HBO, Carrie did not necessarily had to respond to Stern's inquiry as to why she was using the language Carrie did in such a freewheeling and liberal manner. "If we want to use language, let's be very careful when Carrie Bradshaw does, because she is a writer and very deliberate about what she says, how she says it, where she says it, and to whom she is saying it." As Parker explained, Carrie's use of stronger words had a stronger impact when she did. These factors may have contributed to Carrie's worst outbursts. Although Parker shouldn't be blamed for the character's flaws, it appears that these limitations have been marginally adjusted. Carrie. Although Carrie is still a beloved character we hope to see some development in, we're getting to see a new side to every character except for her, with Miranda discovering a new aspect of her sexuality and orientation in Charlotte being taught by her children. The authors and creators are still primarily to blame for the portrayal because they seem to have amplified the prudish behavior in the remake. However, Carrie seems to be locked in time, which is a terrible tragedy because if our main character is so reluctant to confess sexuality and intimacy in a raw and unfiltered environment, how can there actually the city's sex? I hope you enjoy the video and don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more videos. In any case, it's past time for the program to give up the stuffy persona Carrie has upheld over the years. Samantha's appearance by Kim Cattrall might help to educate her a little.